Comes to visual users that are coming to us looking for an alternative to the product configurator that a lot of visual users might be familiar with, which is Explogic's master product configurator, also known as MPC. So that's kind of been what there is for a long time, at least in the minds of many visual manufacturing ERP users when it comes to product configurators. But we have been working with a lot of these customers. A lot of the issue has been, when you're using a configurator for, sometimes 20 plus years, obviously you've put a lot of work into that over time. So we get the question of, how do we come off this? And it's usually a manufacturer that is high growth. And when we say that, we mean that they are rapidly growing in one way or another, and they're looking for a configurator that functions more as a quoting tool and less as just a product configurator on the back end, the manufacturing end of things. So if you're really looking to expand your abilities when it comes to a configurator into quoting and ordering, allowing, multi-channel quoting and ordering, that's when we're typically talking to those folks and helping them through that process. So I've put together just a couple of slides. Don't want to bore everyone to death with slides today, but at least kind of framing up some of the things that I want to chat about and hopefully provoke some thought on. So just to get things started then, wanted to cover where we're going to be going to today in this live stream. So basically a little bit about us at Renaissance Tech, what we're all about, what we do, a configurator comparison. And I use the word configurator loosely because I'm also sort of addressing users of Excel when it comes to using Excel as a product configurator, as well as those that might be using MPC or considering MPC, anything to that effect. But, talking about both of those options as being a configurator, even though they might not technically be in the sense of the word. And then an Infor CPQ demo, and this isn't like a really involved demo. This isn't a lengthy demo at all. It's really more than anything showcasing the integration between Infor CPQ and Visual. That integration is one that Renaissance Tech has taken over and owns. So we are the ones who developed that integration, and happy to speak on that today as well, because it is a powerful integration. We know that's half the battle is wanting to have a configurator that's strongly integrated with Visual. So be talking about that a bit in our demo portion. And then any questions at the end, we are available for those as well. So a little bit about us at Renaissance Tech. We are an Infor channel partner. So if you're already a visual ERP user, chances are that you have a software partner that you work with that's an Infor channel partner specifically for your ERP. So we differ in that we don't do, really anything with ERP except integrate to it. We focus completely on Infor CPQ, and we're actually the only Infor channel partner that does that. So something pretty cool and unique about us. We are based out of the Columbus, Ohio area, which is also where Infor's CPQ headquarters are based out of as well. So a lot of connection there. And then we specialize in, like I said, the implementation and integration of CPQ, and also do a lot of training on the tool as well. Like to make sure that all of our customers are trained up on the configurator so that it's something that, we don't just throw over the wall and hand to you to deal with. We want to make sure that you are educated and able to stand on your own 2 feet when it comes to that. And so then talking about some of the challenges with the alternatives, this is where that configurator comparison comes into play. So whether you're using Excel or Explogic's MPC or anything to that effect that's different than what we're proposing for you today, a lot of these points will still apply, but just going through and talking about a couple of these, with the first one being limited configuration complexity. Obviously, especially with Excel, there's really kind of only so much you can do when it comes to building out a spreadsheet or calculators within a spreadsheet. There's a lot you can do. We don't want to discount the fact that Excel is a really powerful tool, but once you get to a certain point with complexity, it's definitely time for something that can handle super robust configurations. And then lack of product development support. This one is mainly focused towards MPC. So MPC has been around, as we know, for many, many years at this point. We do know that there is no real new development going into MPC, no improvements that will be made on the product. So therefore, no product roadmap or any kind of plans for enhancement. Any kind of support that there is more, I call it a reactive support. So if something goes wrong, you can still get help on that. But it's not any kind of future looking support when it comes to that configurator. And then of course, internal only configuration that applies to both Excel and MPC. So if you're using either of those, then you know that those are tools that are meant for the internal team only. Usually, even with MPC, it's not, internal sales aren't typically using that. If you have salespeople, it's more so estimators or customer service folks that are entering orders, that sort of thing, or, engineers that are using MPC. And then the inability with both of these platforms as well to quote directly. You can't go in there and, put together your configuration and then send it directly to an end customer of any kind. There's no ability to do that and no plans for MPC at least to be able to do that. So if you're looking for something that external users can use, or if you're looking for something that can send a quote directly to a customer, then Infor CPQ is going to be the modern solution in that case. And then version control and data integrity kind of goes along with the first point of, only so much you can do, especially with, MPC. You might be able to, have one person that's in there working on a configuration, but most likely you're not going to have two people because there's not any kind of auto save feature. It's kind of, you start a configuration, you got to finish it. And according to some of our customers, hope that, it doesn't crash while you're in the middle of that configuration as well. So definitely an issue there when it comes to having multi-users work on a quote or any kind of version control. And then with Excel, all of us and I am one of those people who have used Excel extensively, it's only a matter of time before somebody breaks something or a formula just randomly breaks one day. So, it's not the most reliable source. When it comes to the integrity of your data, it's pretty easy to get some corruptions there. So where we see Infor CPQ as being, completely different, honestly, is that it is built for the enterprise entirely. So it's not just for a segment. It's not just for your engineers to be able to go in and configure a product. It's to support your entire enterprise throughout any kind of quoting and ordering process. So I like to talk about that starting with marketing, being an interest generation tool that you can have out on your website if you want to really stand out from the crowd. As we are learning more and more, you have to be kind of ahead of the trends when it comes to what your competition is doing. Having the ability for users to come in onto your website and build out one of your products. You don't have to have pricing on there. It doesn't have to be, exactly every single technical specification you can choose from. But if you want to have like a limited configurator on your website where a user can go in, select some options, see what the product looks like, that sets you apart. And if we're not keeping up on that, then it's very easy to fall behind. So that's why it's important, for these high growth manufacturers to make sure you're not only keeping up with the trends, but that you're able to kind of stay ahead of them as well. And we'll get into, some of the reasons why Infor CPQ is a good choice for that. But then, the next part of the enterprise that Configurator CPQ helps is in sales. So the ability to have a multi-channel platform. So again, like I said, if you're using Excel, if you're using MPC, you know that, you can't have one of your dealers go log into MPC or get into your spreadsheet. I suppose you could send the spreadsheet, but that, it gets a little bit messy. So we don't want to be doing that. But just to have that multi-channel quoting platform so that you can give access to anyone that you desire to go in and create a quote or place an order as needed. And then also does support engineering and manufacturing as well. Don't want to forget about those folks. The Infor CPQ has the ability to dynamically generate 2D drawings for configuration, builds your work order, your bill of materials, all of that kind of stuff. All of that is dynamically generated as you are making selections on your products. So, and then finally, tying it all back together is obviously that integration with visual as well. We're not just creating a bill of materials and it goes nowhere. You can print it off or do whatever with it. It goes directly into visual for your manufacturing usage. And we'll take a look at that in action today as well. So, CPQ addresses a lot of challenges in today's market. So, 20 years ago, needs might have been a lot more simple when it came to product configuration and what you need to do with a configurator. Now we have all of these challenges that we have to address. And how can we do that with Excel spreadsheets or with a configurator that doesn't have, any plans to take things further and grow further with your business? We would contend that, Infor CPQ is a choice that can help in that regard. Creates compelling proposals. Again, I'm not showing a full demo today, so I want to at least highlight a couple of things that CPQ can do for you. Can generate, any kind of proposal document that you use or would like to have in your quoting and ordering process. Anytime, anywhere access. Again, a big differentiator here is the ability to have mobile usage. So, no matter whether the end user that we're talking about here, if it's an internal salesperson or if it's a dealer, out in the middle of nowhere, they're going to have the same consistent user experience by having those mobile quoting capabilities as well as what we see on desktop. And then visual engagement and interaction. Again, just wanted to point out a few of these because we won't cover all of these today when we look at the tool. But product images, some folks like static images. That's all they need at this time. We might have those who need and require 2D drawings, 3D assemblies, and then that interactive 3D as well, being something that's a hot item, if you will, to have out on your website at this point. It goes back into that interest generation for marketing. And then augmented reality. That's one I like to point out because it doesn't always work for every product. You might not necessarily need to see certain products sitting in the room with you, but it's good to know that Infor is keeping up with these trends, that, we have the capabilities to provide visualization like that if it's something that you need or want for your business objectives. Okay, so we made it through my few slides here, and I will go ahead. I'm going to switch on over to enterprise quoting. So this is the quoting platform, and we'll get this screen back on here. This is the quoting platform that comes with Infor CPQ. So you can have Configurator just attached directly, integrated directly into Visual. So you're launching out of Visual, but high growth manufacturers are going to want something a little bit more robust than that. Again, it goes into that external multi-channel usage. So this is the quoting platform. It's called Enterprise Quoting, EQ for short. I might say one or the other, so just keep that in mind. And right now we're going to navigate over to our order page. So let's say, I am a dealer. That's who I am. And I work with you, the manufacturer, and you've given me a license to be able to access enterprise quoting and place my own orders for my customers. So we'll keep this simple. I'll just go up here to new order in the top right, and then I can select a customer as a dealer. I might have a database of customers that I want to import from Excel, for instance, into enterprise quoting to use. If you are the manufacturer using enterprise quoting, you can connect enterprise quoting to Visual so that it's pulling all of your customer base out of Visual into enterprise quoting. But in this case, a dealer, so I'm not using your Visual obviously, but did want to point out that that was a capability. So I'll select a customer that I, as the dealer, added to my customer list in here. We'll do this Able Manufacturing. And then right here, we're going to select the Add Items button. And from here, it takes me to this product catalog, and you can see, I have a few different products to choose from. I have the ability to sort and filter down. If you have a pretty broad product catalog, might be a good way to visualize all of that data that you have. So let's go ahead. We're just going to select this visual door right here, and we're going to say that we want to configure this item. Okay, so I'm going to go through now and I'm going to select a few options. We're in the configuration screen. You can see I can slide this around so that, if I want this image to take up more real estate, we can do that over here on the right. But if I want more room for selection, I can make this a little wider over here on the left. So on the left is where we make our selections. And then on the right is where we see some kind of visualization or information based on our selections. So you can see I go through, I select hickory, natural, we'll select the scoop panel for the style. And then once I get through a certain amount of questions, you can see this particular model has a 2D image that's generated from a CAD program. And you'll see as we get going throughout this, that this 2D image is actually dynamically, parametrically adjusting based on our selections. So I'm going to adjust my width here. We'll put this up to 35. And you can see right there, we've got our parametrics in action. And we see the 35 down here to let us know that that door size has expanded to our selection. And then we'll pick just something a little bit different for the height. And then we can go through here. Let's say, we just want this flat panel for both of our panels. And then at that point, we can finish this configuration. So you can see right there, there's our visual door. We can expand for a little bit more detail. We've got a nice little 2D drawing here that shows what we've created here today. And then we can request ship date. We can put in a PO number. We can select a ship to address or a contact as well for this customer, but let's just say we're good to go as is. I want to show you what it looks like in Visual. So we'll do that. We'll say place order, lets us know that this order ending in 176 has been successfully submitted. So we'll close this out so we can see right here as well, submitted. Now let's go ahead and head over into Visual. So you can see here, I already have this pulled up here in my customer order screen. We've got this order 176. We can see the part has come through the visual door. And let's say, we want to check out the work order for this and make sure everything looks right. We can go right over here to the job ID, select this arrow, and then this takes us in. We can see our work order right here. We can see, okay, this is what the dealer put through for their customer. Does this, look good, and release to production at that point if we're happy. Now, let's say, we're not quite there yet. We get a call from that dealer, and the dealer is saying, wait, before you put that order through, the customer wants to know if they can make a quick change. Remember those scoop panels? They actually want to change those to glass now. And thank goodness, we're still okay. We can still do that. We just select the line. We go up here to this order configure, this little wrench up in the corner, select that. And then you can see here, it's the exact same look and feel what we had going on in enterprise quoting, but now this is directly out of Visual. You can see all of my selections that I made in enterprise quoting are still valid in here. You can see there's my 35-inch wide door. We can proceed to our dimensions, and let's say they wanted, I think I said scoop panel, but instead of the raised panel, they wanted glass panels. So we're going to go ahead, just make these quick adjustments. You can see our nice little glass panes show up in the 2D image over here on the right. We've got an updated price that, we can tell the dealer, let their customer know this is your updated price. And then we select the finish button. And so that item, that line is reconfiguring for us right now. We can go up here to the save button. Let's just make sure that we've got everything recent, up to date on this line before we double check. Let's go back into our work order now. And we can see we've got, our original order still intact. No changes there, except now we've got these glass panels that are added on as sub-assemblies to this job. So these are now showing up here on our screen as well. So that's just a really quick, brief tour, a demo of that integration, what it looks like, coming through to you as the manufacturer when you have any kind of external or internal user using enterprise quoting. We'd be really happy, to discuss this further. Like I said, this is just meant to be a quick demo to give you an idea. But if you would like to reach out to us and learn a little bit more, would like something maybe a little bit more tailored to your unique business objectives, we'd be really happy to talk with you about that. But hopefully this is okay for a first live stream. Gave some good information, some points of discussion. And we'd be really happy to hear from you. So please like and subscribe to our channel. We intend to do more of these live streams and put some, fun and educational content out there. We do tend to release videos on a weekly or bi-weekly basis as often as possible. So lots of good information on Infor CPQ out there for visual users or any other users that might be interested in this awesome tool. So thanks again, everybody.